and drilling of boreholes to provide water. The project, which is spearheaded by Kericho County Women Representative Beatrice Kemei, aims to empower the local communities by equipping skills on modern farming with the ever-reducing sizes of land.
That Kenya is growing in population and our population numbers is going higher. It is a threat to our farming areas, especially our farm, what we call the arable land, is getting depleted and smaller because of our population growth. And this new model of Mama Kitchen Garden will really assist us as a country and as a ministry to optimize on our resources, especially land, which is a limited resource.
Well, that story leads us to a discussion right here on News Center, and we want to focus on the health sector in the country, because despite the resumption of doctors to their workstations in public hospitals, health services are yet to normalize to 100% in most facilities, with clinical officers and laboratory officers who are still on strike. Now, this is definitely causing patients untold suffering, especially at level 2 and level 1 facilities, even as some of them remain stranded due to inadequate healthcare workforce, since some of the workers have still down their tools. Focusing on the medical laboratory officers, they've been on strike for, is it over 40 days now? We'll get the exact number of days. And they're now accusing the county and the government for failing to formulate a recognition agreement with the union, despite having met all the requirements that are needed. I'm now joined by Nicholas Odipo, who is the chairperson of the Kenya National Union of Medical Laboratory Officers in the country. We just want to find out the latest in terms of the status update, if the talks are really ongoing. Are there any recommendations that have been given by the government in terms of ceding ground when it comes to the negotiations so far? So, Nicholas, asante sana for your time and karibu to KTN News.
Asante.
Well, we're talking at a very tough time for clinical officers, for laboratory officers, equally nurses who hinted at downing their tools. Let's start with the laboratory officers. What's the latest in terms of negotiations with the government? Are they ongoing? Have you reached a stalemate? Is any team compromising? Since negotiations are you give, you take, you receive, you know. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now, unfortunately, we have not had any negotiation with the Minister of Health.
Ever since you started this?
Ever since we started.
How many days into it?
Right now, we are on the 48th day, and we've tried reaching out to them. It is like we are the ones looking for them. We have looked for them. Unfortunately, they have not given us an opportunity to sit down and discuss these issues. Sometimes back on 17th May, we were called to a conciliation meeting at the Ministry of Labor. Unfortunately, they didn't show up. The conciliation was supposed to have the Ministry of Health, that is the Cabinet Secretary, and the Chairperson, Council of Governors. They didn't show up. So to us, I think it is a contempt, and we are still holding on to our demands, because I think the CS for health is a CS for everybody. She is not a CS for a particular cadre.
Yes.
And no matter what, she's supposed to listen to even the smallest person in the society. But that is not coming. So I don't know what is going throughout her mind, or the minds of those people who are supposed to sit down with us in the ministry and even for the governors. The citizens continue suffering because, of course, with the doctors back to work, there's minimal activities they can do in the hospitals without lab. Lab encompasses like 70% of all hospital visits. So, if the ministry does not take lab seriously, for us, we will just sit down and wait for them until such a time they'll be ready to sit down with us and discuss some of this issue.
Let's get the full extent of the devastation that has been caused by the downing of tools of these various unions, including the medical laboratory officers. How many members are we talking about? How many counties have been affected? Is it the same case as a doctor? Some were working in some counties and some counties were affected. What's the case with the medical laboratory officers?
Okay, the case is,
yes.
Of course, there are some counties that are working, but they cannot exceed 10.
So, maximum of 10 counties still have their medical laboratory officers working?
Yes.
Okay.
But the rest of the country are on strike.
That's a dire situation, yeah.
Yeah, they are on strike, and we are urging them to continue being on strike. And you see, we decided to at least keep some services going, and especially the services for blood transfusion, because blood is very critical. And we also are not happy when patients suffer when we can offer those emergency services. But now that we have called the ministry to sit down with us for quite a long time, and they have refused, we decided to withdraw that service. So all the blood transfusion centers have closed as from Monday. And maybe the pinch has not been felt, but the moment there's no blood that is being screened, there's no blood that is being donated, we only give it like 3 to 4 days, then a crisis will start. Because a county like Mombasa, we had already closed it last week, and they have started feeling the pinch, which is not right. Which is not right. But we have no option. As a union, we have no option. All the things that we have put on the table are valid. So if they are very valid, then it is the responsibility of the Minister for Health and the Council of Governors to call us so that we can have an holistic talk on how to resolve this thing. Something like a recognition agreement. It is something that we can even do it within a day. They couldn't even wait for us to go on strike for them to sign the recognition agreement.
So you want the union recognized?
Yes.
Okay.
By law, it has to be recognized. But on the other hand, that is in terms of negotiations, especially on the collective bargaining agreement. But the union is already recognized. It is there, it is functioning, it is registered, and it is representing members. So governors have this kind of argument that because we are not recognized, we are not supposed to go on strike, or we are not supposed to demand.
Yes, and negotiate who are we negotiating with.
Already we had given them a request to recognize us.
When was that?
In July 2023, we sent out a recognition request to almost 40 counties. Yeah. So in these 40 counties, we only got 6 that agreed to sign with us that recognition agreement. The rest, 36, have stayed put. Then they come to the media. They go out there saying that they have not recognized us. How can you deny somebody recognition and then you start shouting that I don't recognize you? And this person had already requested you to recognize him.
So tell me this, the counties, the 6 counties you've mentioned that recognize the union, are your workers working in those 6 counties?
Not really.
Why is that? Yet you are recognized.
The reason why we cannot allow them to go to work is because it is not only recognition agreement that is in that strike notice.
Okay.
We have things like risk allowance that was struck out of our payslip.
Let's talk about that, yeah.
It affects every medical laboratory officer. The rest of the healthcare workers are getting recognition agreement, including the ones that we can consider are not exposed to any risk in the hospitals. But medical laboratory workers are exposed to risk on a daily basis, from infectious substances, from the chemicals that we use in the lab, to the lights we use in the microscope. And by the way, it is only medical laboratory cadre that have challenges in eyesight. Somebody like me, I never used to wear this. But after working for like 6 years, I had to be put on this. That is a health risk.
I get you.
Because I did not have it while growing. So why should someone deny me a risk allowance? Yeah. So we told them, for us to get this risk allowance, then we just have to stay at home, despite the fact that we have signed a recognition agreement with your counties, because it is affecting all of us.
Yes.
And we must ensure that we get that risk allowance. We have another thing that is affecting all counties, that is comprehensive medical cover. The counties are not giving us comprehensive medical cover, majority of them. Yeah? So you find that our members, when they get sick, they have to dig deep in their pockets.
Yeah.
Mind you, they are digging deep in their pockets, and the counties are delaying their salaries. Yeah? Because counties, you cannot even budget with the county salary and even promise someone that I'll pay you on a